by telling how sustainably you can actually reduce the carbon footprint at a building level. So when we talk about the carbon footprint, it is the total amount of greenhouse gases that are released into the atmosphere with human activities. So these human activities are basically the by food consumption, transportation, and other household energy that is released into the atmosphere. So by this, a lot of CO2 or infrared radiations are actually released into the atmosphere, by which we have greenhouse effect. Due to this greenhouse effect, we have climate change in the environment. So when we talk about climate change, it's basically the alterations into the temperature and the weather of any particular place. One of the major impacts of this climate change is the carbon footprint, that is, or the CO2 levels that are released into the atmosphere. So when we talk about the CO2 levels, the total amount of the CO2 that is released into the atmosphere is due to the constructions, the manufacturing and the transportation of various products, and also because of the demolition when you talk about the building before building period. And then once the building is in use, the building energy released during the usage is also a lot of energy is emitted, which increases the carbon dioxide gases and creates the greenhouse effect and the climate change. So when we talk about building level, as we were just talking, that transportation, demolition waste and manufacturing materials create a lot of disturbance into the atmosphere. At the same time, the electricity consumption and on-site consumption, water and waste management are also equally contributing. So basically to solve this or make a carbon neutral building or a carbon balanced building, we basically need to have a balance between the energy used before and after. So we have to have a mitigation for the same. So I have few points on which we can actually, strike a balance for both. This balance can be struck, as Sir was also talking about, that use of renewable resources. These all renewable resources like wind, solar, water, solid waste, all these basically do generate electricity for us, but then they have a lot more potential with them as such. Like, for example, wind helps us making the indoors very comfortable, helps us improve the indoor air quality. At the same time, solar, that is the sunlight, basically helps us achieve the natural daylight for our space, by which both we can reduce the dependence on the active or the artificial sources of light and wind, or for basically we can just use these and supplement or dependence on our active energies that today we are using. So when we use such renewable resources, we basically are reducing the carbon energy that is released into the atmosphere. At the same time, we are balancing or achieving the human comfort indoors with the help of the renewable sources of energy. Also, at a community level, as we see, we basically can, as Chandigarh was a community level or sector-based design, those kind of things are now again being circulated, like new smart cities and smart city concepts and all are getting promoted these days. Like you have Naya Raipur, Navi Mumbai, then you have the new Amravati that is coming up also on the basis of the similar concept, which basically promotes the community level housing. Now, when we talk about a community level housing, these basically have cities or townships or spaces, the residential spaces which have a good connect or proximity to all these amenities like schools, parks, playgrounds, hospitals, work areas, shopping, and all these. So basically the transportation is reduced. As we all know, that transportation is also a very important aspect for the release of carbon dioxide and other pollutants into the atmosphere. This basically is increasing the carbon emissions into the atmosphere and contributing a lot to the greenhouse effect today. So if this kind of thing is promoted, basically we are helping reducing the transportation, and in which we are basically reducing the carbon footprint again. Then use of solar passive technologies is one of the major things that can be done at building level to reduce the carbon emissions. Now, basically, when we talk about a building design, it starts with the orientation of a building, or orientation of the building on the site, which is something very basic, and which is decided on the basis of the sun movement and sun orientation. Once all that is fixed, then comes to designing of a space. Yeah. Now, once you fix the orientation of a building, then the major two parts are the ventilation and the light. So for ventilation, as we know that 24 hours of fresh air movement is a very prime and important thing for any building, by which we improve the indoor air quality. We also increase the comfort zone of we achieve the comfort zone of the space by having a proper ventilation to a space. So cross ventilation is decided on the movement of the wind, according to which we need to plan our openings. Once the openings are planned, if we don't have a proper shading, a lot of glare could come inside your space. So this can be catered with the providing a lot of proper shading. Now, when we talk about shading, we have a combination of shading that can be used: the overhangs, the vertical fins, a combination of both that we know as accurate design shading, or also we have a lot of chhajjas that are at angles, or we have them at the fins that are at angles, so which helps us get the required amount of sunlight and the depending on the space that we are designing for. At the same time, when we talk about a span of structure where the indoor is about 10 meters wide or more, when we provide windows, we get a hardly space of about 4-5 meters that can be lit. But then the center part is always a problem area, because then we need to support it with artificial lighting. So that can be actually overcome by providing light shelves, where we use the sunlight, and the deflection of the light can be given into the space, which helps us light the indoors properly. But if by all these means, we actually can achieve our human comfort if it is well designed. But if we don't have a proper building envelope, all this is pointless, because if the thermal mass is more, if you're getting more heat gains from outside, even if you're comforting it inside, is waste. Putting in so much of thought to the designing is waste. So proper building envelope also is a big contributor for achieving the comfort levels or comfort zones at a building level. So the point here is, if you have a properly well-designed building with the renewable sources and proper light ventilation, you ultimately are achieving your thermal comfort. Once you achieve your thermal comfort, or once your indoor is around 24 to 26 degrees, your dependency on the active sources like air conditioners or coolers is reduced. So your energy emissions are less. So your carbon dioxide exiting outside is also reduced at the same time. So you are going green. You are making your building a green building. Once this is there, we also have some strategies that we use normally as an evaporative cooling or a stack effect, or earth air tunnels that can be used, where you basically are kind of pushing in the hot air, making the indoors cooler, or you're taking in basically the cool air from the pool or a water body and getting the cooler air inside. So in case of an earth air tunnel, you basically are in all these things, basically you're dropping your wind temperature by 2-3 degrees and then flushing it into your space. So you are naturally letting the cool space enter your building. So you are dropping the indoor temperature, or giving a cooler breeze inside. So all these measures basically help you achieve the natural comfort space inside, or indoor space is comfortable. So dependency is naturally getting reduced when it comes to active energy usage. Now here, if you see, you have a proper use of stack effects, then you have ventilation, cross buildings, you have lots of green spaces around, which help you for give you a proper shade to the spaces, at the same time you're using a proper angled sun, you're providing your spaces aptly so that you have a proper comfortable spaces. This is just for explaining you how the basic thing works. Now, when we say water, water is also a very important renewable source. But today, as you see, all the water bodies around us are toxically polluted. I mean, you cannot use the water that is available in the water bodies right away. But if we use the water that is coming to us naturally, it is going to solve half our problems. Now, when I say you use it naturally, that means the rainwater is considered to be the purest form of water. But we are not conserving any of the rainwater that we are getting. If we help the rainwater conserving the rainwater properly, so we'll have our ground tables recharged, which will help solve half our problems again. Like if the water table is recharged, in case of Hyderabad, half of the places here are having water problems. The water needs to be transported. The water needs to be transported from some water body. Then it has to be purified. It has to be made proper for usage and then transport. So basically, if we talk about, as I was talking about, if we conserve the rainwater that we're getting, like from the rooftops, we can conserve water from the pathways. All this basically is helping us recharge now the groundwater level. At the same time, if we have a lot of ground coverage, we can have swales and such kind of landscape materials that can be provided again, which will help us recharge the water table under, and then it can be used for the usage of the building. And at the same time, the gray water that is released from the building can be again reused in a way and treated and reused again. So basically, we are promoting green infrastructure here so that we are minimizing the carbon emissions by purifying water and industrial context. We're trying to cut here. So that is a way that you can balance the water levels and help increase. Help attain water stability in a building. Lesser impact on our atmosphere. So some materials like bamboo, mud blocks, timber, these can be used for construction, because when at times of demolition, concrete is not a biodegradable material. So it basically is impacting the earth. When we talk about impacting the earth, the soil is getting damaged, then there is no point of growing greenery, because that is a dead soil again. So we need to provide materials which basically are going to help you strike the balance there. Okay, then one more important thing that can be done is solid waste management. Now here, nowadays, every building is trying to do their own waste collection. When you so they are segregating materials when it is waste materials, and there's a proper hierarchy. So now once the segregation is done, what we do is whatever is need to be reused and recycled is going in that sector. When we come up to solid waste management, we can also use proper biogas plants where there is a huge amount of solid disposal, which can be used to generate your electricity and all those things. So when we depend on natural sources than artificial, we're basically striking the balance and getting a carbon neutral or a carbon reducing the carbon footprint of a building. So once we do that, we are actually helping the 2 degree that is increasing today by dropping it. So basically, if we make a green building today, it is going to be having a less impact on the atmosphere, and it is basically going to strike a balance. So basically here you see we have proper disposal of wastage, which can be reused as recycled, then which is solid waste is going to into a solid waste area. So there's a proper movement that is provided in each societies nowadays, which is one step to the green, I would say. Then basically, as I would like to conclude this by saying that basically for any building operation to reduce its energy, we need to strike a balance or a target. It should be that the energy target on the site should be low and carbon energy by striking a balance between off construction and prior to construction balance. If that is struck, we would actually help reach the goal and strike a balance by reducing the carbon footprint at a building level. Thank you.